posted this in another thread about the most embarrassing thing you ever saw happen to a teacher. My entire 4th grade class was in attendance at our teacher's wedding where she was left at the altar. Wait, was this like a school field trip to your teacher's wedding? What? The whole situation was ugly. My teacher was the bride and was about 3/4 down the aisle when the groom decided he couldn't do it. He walked off to the side, and at first my teacher and her father didn't notice and kept walking, smiling radiantly. There was about a minute of really solid confusion. Last minute cold feet, bathroom emergency, before everyone realized what was going on. My teacher was whisked out of the church and an announcement was made that there was not going to be a wedding. This happened the 2nd or 3rd week of June. She didn't come back for the last week of school. Oh, that is literally a nightmare. If I see my man running off, I'm running off too. Like, I'm out of there so fast. Late to the party. This was sometime in my 70s. My uncle, wait, what? Late to the party. This was sometime in the 70s. Okay, not my 70s. My uncle in India was attending the wedding of some not so close friends. Totally common to have 1,000 people at a wedding with many people that barely know the couple in attendance. Okay. The bride was left at the altar and literally standing on the stage while everyone was watching. My uncle stepped up and said he'd marry her. He must have felt some sudden rush of Bollywood go through him. Anyway, she said yes, and they were happily married to this day. Wait. What? So you just go up, your husband-to-be is not there, and you're waiting, and then someone else is like, yo, I'll marry you, and you're like, yo, okay, and now you're married? Wow, it's like you did like an exchange. Like, it's like when you go to Walmart and you exchange a product for another product. She just did that on the spot on her wedding day? All right. Yes, my friend's groom-to-be left her at the altar. He took the tickets to Hawaii for their honeymoon and instead went with his brother. Oh my God, savage. She spent a year dating around before he begged her to take him back, saying that he was wrong. He, a very well-off young lawyer, bought her a huge rock and paid for a lavish wedding, and she agreed. They were married soon after and now have a baby daughter. Oh, she said yes? She took him back? Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. This guy stands you up at the altar and takes your honeymoon tickets to go on some boys trip, and you take him back for his money, clearly. This actually happened to me. Oh no, we've got the bride herself here. The guy I was supposed to marry just didn't show up at all. He called all of his friends and family on his side and told them not to bother showing up because he wouldn't be there. We waited around till about an hour after the wedding started and finally got a text message saying he wasn't coming. So I got to look like a jerk by telling my family, oh sorry, there won't be a wedding today. It was mortifying, and to top things off, my son was asking me why his daddy didn't want to marry mommy. Very hard to explain to a 2-year-old. That is so sad. I'm so sorry. Like, your dream day just gets totally like pooped on. And a text. A text. All right, ooh, we got a wedding pro here. Best one I ever heard about. Groom ditches bride a few weeks before the event when nothing is refundable. Bride sends exact copy of invite that says something to the effect of, met the wrong man, gave the wrong finger, please join me in a charity gala. Has whole wedding with friends and family and donates all gifts to the greater good. Go her. That is what I'm talking about, baby. Girl power. That is a power move. That is a boss right there, okay? I got left at the altar. Oh. He had spent the previous day spending a lot of time with his ex instead of helping me set up. I yelled at him about it because he was late and hadn't helped at all. He said he didn't want to get married because spending time with his ex made him realize I wasn't as fun as she was. I kicked him out and still had the party. I told him to use that time to go home and pack up all of his stuff. He did. Blessing in disguise. This man is out hanging with his ex the day before he's committing his life to someone. I don't think so. Don't even bother meeting me at the altar. Like, are you crazy? My sister was left at the altar by my best mate and I was best man. He met my sister through me and they went out with each other for 2 years and were engaged for a year before the big day. We're in the church at the front. waiting for the bride with about 15 minutes to go. He says he needs to use the toilet and walks to the back of the church. A minute or so later, it hits me that the toilets aren't at the back of the church and I start to worry. So go looking for him. He's not in the toilets, not around the church, nowhere to be found. Oh my God, this is like a true crime mystery. My best mate had legged it. Legged it, I love that. We didn't see or hear from him for 3 days, his own family for 2 days, and by then he was in Europe somewhere staying with a friend. Where he's been ever since, 3 years now. He's never made any effort to explain even to my sister. That is like a mystery when someone just disappears without an explanation. Like obviously not as bad because you know he's alive and well. So obviously not as bad. However, like your life just gets flipped upside down on your wedding day and you don't even get an explanation. You never see that person again. Like what? This is going to sound like hearsay, but I met a girl who was left by her fiance the day of her wedding. He chose this time to inform her that actually he was already married and had a family. If you're married and you have a family and deep down you have no intention on divorcing and remarrying, why did you propose? I hate people. This story makes being ghosted sound like the better option. Oh no, we are not off to a good start. My sister was left at the altar on her wedding. I was about 13, her maid of honor. He just said no and walked out when asked if he would take her to be his wife. It was horrible after. He joined the army and got married like 6 months later, and my sister moved back in with us. She stayed in my room and would cry herself to sleep every night for months. Why? Why do people do this? Why do you even go up to the altar and say no in front of everyone? Like, take the bride, have a private conversation, explain your feelings, explain your emotions, explain you don't want to do it, and at least make it as right as possible. A college professor of mine didn't show up to his wedding. The bride's father announced that the reception would still be held. Figured he might as well get his money's worth. Professor showed up with his band and asked the bride's father if they could play. I kid you not. So you didn't want to marry her, but you still want to be at the party and you want to perform with your band? Where's the logic and like respect? I was left at the altar at 19, probably for the best looking back on it now, but at the same time, it was rough. I beat the crap out of the guy after I found him an hour later. We kept living together for a few months after that, and I did wind up moving to a different state shortly after. Turns out he was hooking up with his much older boss. Isn't that nice? Cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater, had a fiance and couldn't keep her. People are rude. It's just rude. On the night before the wedding, the groom broke down crying. He thought he was making a mistake. We offered support and told him it would be okay. We said that if he didn't want to do it, he didn't have to, but we encouraged him to go through with it. The wedding starts and he's at the altar sweating like a madman. The groom starts rocking back and forth. He looks like he is about to faint and he slowly starts side shuffling. The groom turns to his right and starts heading to the side door. Some people in the church notice and there is a gasp. He beelines to the door and heads straight towards the sports car he had rented. We yell at him and he yells at us to get in and we do. He takes off. We end up in Las Vegas for the next few days. Like, I appreciate you guys try to like encourage him to go through with it. Everyone is entitled to feel how they want to feel. So I get if it comes down to your wedding day, worst timing possible to tell someone, but you know, at least tell someone. A buddy of mine was engaged to this girl who no one liked. They were getting married and we all were too polite to tell him that what we really thought about her. We were about halfway through the wedding ceremony when he just booked it. He didn't say anything. He just walked off the altar and left mid-wedding. He did end up marrying her, but it was months later. If my man walks out, he is not getting a second chance at that wedding. You should be in a position on your wedding day, in a very strong position in your relationship. And if you're not, then don't get married. These were some people left at the altar. My heart hurts for them because that would be awful. I'm out of here, you guys. Stay classy out there and stay sassy. Bye. Oh, I got very excited. This is brides that got left at the altar. That would friggin' suck. Something seems off. Is it my light? I don't think so. Maybe I'm just tripping. I need to back up or maybe back this up. back that thing up or should I push up on it? Ignore me. My lips are very chapped and like my lip gloss is like extra sticky. Does that make sense? I need like my camera for a sec. Ugh, sorry, they just feel weird. Have you even subscribed to the channel yet? Don't be a fake fan, hit that subscribe button. You know you want to.